These videos have been possible with the help of those that support me on Patreon, so thank you guys for your constant support, and if you want to support me, you can click on the link on your screen right now, or click the link in the description below. Thanks a lot. Hello everybody, my name is Tyler Valle, and this is Nobunaga's Ambition Sphere of Influence. Now our review code was once again graciously provided by 1PR, so thank you guys so much for the opportunity to get our hands on this game. The Nobunaga's Ambition series is the perfect stepping stone for somebody who's gotten bored of Civilization's easy difficulty and wants something more complex, but is not ready for Europa Universalis. So without further ado, let's press that options button and get into it. So right here on the screen, you can see multiple things. I can load my game that I've been playing on my own time. I can go and edit historical officers. I can go and create my own officers, which I've already done. I've created myself as a samurai. Unfortunately, it looks like he was deleted. That's a damn shame. Damn shame. However, we'll come back to that later. What we're going to do right now is we're just going to start up a new game and start a new campaign so I can show that off to you, because that's really what we're all here for. Now, before I move on, I want to explain kind of why I'm doing this video. I did this game's tutorial and I found myself very confused. Fortunately, if there's a term I could use to describe this game, it would be falsely convoluted. It comes off as convoluted and almost daunting to pick up and start playing, but once you realize that everything starts to just fall into place, it's actually one of the most simplistic strategy games I have ever played. But there is a ton to do in this game and will keep other strategy fans very entertained. So from here we can choose what scenario we want to play. We can play the tutorial, which I'd still recommend you at least go and try out to get the very basics down. We can start with the Birth of Nobunaga, the Viper Amino, the Struggle for Power. You can see there are multiple scenarios you can start from, and I know there are already pre-order bonuses that if you pre-order the game, there are 3 more scenarios, or 2. And I'm sure that they will have more scenarios coming out as the game's lifespan continues to go on. So for the sake of this, we're just going to start with the Birth of Nobunaga. From here, you are actually able to choose any of these clans that are currently available on the map. Now, in my own personal game, I've been playing as the Date clan. But for this, I am going to choose... Let's go with the... Let's go with the Oda. I mean, why not? They are the main characters. From here, you can choose your difficulty. Let's just go with easy for the sake of showing this game off. Here's where you can choose certain settings for the game. You can choose whether or not your created officers will be allowed in. Unfortunately, you can only choose that within the fictional scenario mode, which there is one, which is called the 30 Ambitions. You can choose whether or not historical quests will occur in your game, whether or not events will come on. You can actually choose the lifespan of your officers, whether or not people can die in battle, whether or not fictional maidens will be born, so on and so forth. So let's just leave it where it is right now and start up the game. From here, we can choose what daimyo we want. We're just going to play as Nobunaga's father. Every major clan has a story cutscene this way. The Hojo, I've seen it. With the Date, I've seen it. And the Mori, I've seen it. So we've seen it with all of them so far. I'm just going to skip this because I want you guys to be able to see the story for yourselves. I apologize if you want to hear what's going on. I want you guys to actually, if you guys are interested, to try it out for yourself, and I don't want to spoil anything for you. So we can actually just skip all the cutscenes with the options button. So here we are. Now here's the quest system. The quest system actually allows you, if you've played the Romance of the Three Kingdoms games prior to 11, you actually will have historical events that you can actually partake in that game. Well, with this, they have it the same way, but it's considered a quest, meaning you have to fulfill certain objectives that they give you. So let's see what our objective is here. So we have to go to the Tsushima tribe and raise their support to 80. And the Atsuda tribe. So I will show you how that's done as soon as this is over. Alright, so here's what the basic menu looks like for the game. Here's what your UI is for the entirety of the game. This is about zoomed in about middle way. You can actually zoom in this close and move the map around. So this is about as close as you can get, if this is what you like. You can also zoom out this far to see the entire world and see everything that you're working towards. So let's zoom back in there. Here at the top of your screen, you can see the council, the date, what my name is, and from left to right, this is your money, your rice, how many horses you have for your cavalry, how many muskets you have, and I don't know what that star thing is, but it's not important yet. And labor. So your labor is your most important resource. With labor, you're able to actually go and build on cities that you have. Like right here, I have this city. I can go and build something here. So let's go and build a temple. I'll choose who I want to go and build it. You can see my labor goes from 13 down to 9. And now we're building. From here, we can go into development. This is where you'll be making most of your money and your conscriptions for your soldiers. From here, you can choose your I have my 2 cities. Here's the 3 things that you're allowed to upgrade. Your crops, which will improve how much your population improves and how fast it does. Your crafts, which is how much money you'll be making every turn. And your conscripts, which increases your maximum amount of soldiers. So here, right now, it's telling us that our people are toiling in the rice fields, my liege. How about focusing on agriculture this month? So, we'll increase our crops. It goes from 480 to 578. And you can see our max harvest goes from 5,300 up to 5,800 by doing this. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to click confirm, and down here we can see there are people working on rice here as well. So we'll move it up. Now we're up to 6,300 a month. That's pretty good. And with that, where our labor is down to 5, we have another city over here. So, what do they want? They need more soldiers, more conscripts. As you can see, there's that red bar along with the white bar. That red bar is the blocked bar because my population isn't that high. But the way you deal with that is you increase your crops. And as you see with the crops, your red bar goes down. So the higher your population is, obviously the more troops you're able to conscript, which means your maximum amount of soldiers continues to go higher. So let's go with conscription. And that's been done. So now I only have 3 labor left. So our job that we were told was to go and do some diplomacy. So from here, you can click on the covert and you go to appease. Now there are 2 tribes that are around us. The Atsuda tribe, which is the one that we have to increase our support with, and the Tsushima. So we're going to go with that. So first off, we'll choose these guys because they're already at 41 support. And we'll send one of my men with the highest amount of intelligence. Every officer you have has a certain amount of traits to it. So, right now you see intelligence. Intelligence and politics are pretty much going to be your number 1 most important overall stats that you want to see on somebody. Leadership and valor, or VAL, I'm pretty sure that's valor, is how well they'll do in combat. But outside of combat, you want people who are able to reinforce your cities and work with diplomacy and work with other people as fast as they possibly can. So, to do that, you need people who have high diplomacy, which is high intelligence and high politics. Politicians are going to be your number 1 people that you want to support the most. So from here, we can go to covert, and now we have the others who are at 13. We'll send over this officer. His is not that high, and he'll be removed from overseer for a temporary amount of time, which is fine. So we'll do that. And now with everything out of the way that we can possibly do, other than going in and improving roads, which is not that important at the moment, we can end our turn. So before we'll end our turn, I want to explain what you see here on the screen. So you see these 7, 10? 8? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 8 total choices. These are your basic UI and what's most important. As you see the little word bubble there, that means there's new stuff that you can do. Here, for example, we have the ability to upgrade a road. So we'll go and upgrade some roads, because why not? Confirm. We'll send over this old man. Done. Okay. So those roads are now improved. Here is where your ability to summon officers from other bases or transfer officers from one base to another is. So if you wanted to move, say, somebody from your main castle right here up to Shibata Castle, you would be able to transfer officers from here to here. Simple enough. From here is your foreign, which is basically your diplomacy. This is split into several sections that are easy to understand. From here, you have regular diplomacy, which is your base of what you want to do. You start out all of your diplomacies this way. So you click on diplomacy, you find the people that you want to ally with. Right here, we have our allies right here, the Kyosu Oda. And we have these guys over here. So they're interested in us. So we'll go and send this guy right here over to go and talk to them. So you can see our projected trust. Right now it's at 0. Our projected trust will be at 9 in 15 months. Now that's not great, but that's not terrible also. As you can see here, their trust is set at 20. Now with trust is where you get to do other things, which you can see in negotiations and relations. So we click here. Here's the things you can do when it comes to alliances. You can form an alliance with them, which will cost you 60 trust. You can have a marriage with them, which is perfect when you want to basically cement a relationship between you and somebody else and make sure that there's no way that it can really be broken. You can ask them to dissolve. You can make them your vassal, which you can only do when they are extremely weak. You have to be massively more powerful than they are, because I've even had it been where I controlled a large part of Eastern Japan, and there was a one city clan who was so powerful I could not ask them to be my vassal for about 2 years because of how strong they were in comparison to my relatively weak empire. And you can ask them to submit, which is basically just tell them, you need to bow down and suck it because I'm a lot stronger than you are. That's only a few things that you can do when you have a relationship with them. Outside of that, you can go over here to request, and you can actually do things like request relief. So you can use 40 trust that you have built up with another clan through diplomacy to have them send soldiers to help you or to send aid to you. You can call a truce, which requires you to have 80 trust with a third clan. You can have 100 Imperial Court trust to cause a truce, and we'll get to what the Imperial Court does and how you work with the Imperial Court in a moment. And then you can use 80 trust to force other clans into a truce. So, the Imperial Court goes back over here into diplomacy. The Imperial Court is the other way you can do diplomacy. So you go to the Imperial Court, the failing shogunate of the warring states, and you can go and set up somebody. So I would send over this guy. He'll be removed as an overseer, but that's fine. I'll go and build up diplomacy. From then, I have 2 options here that I'm not allowed to select yet, which are request and nomination. Now, request is you basically request the shogun to give you a title. And by doing so, it increases how quickly you can build diplomacy with other clans in Japan. Or you can nominate somebody, whether they're your ally or one of your men, to increase their ability to perform diplomacy by giving them a title, which will also earn you friendship with them. So we have this guy set to go and do diplomacy. Now this is my first turn. I still have not finished my first turn, and we already have so many things going on right now. Also, another thing we can talk about here is treasure. If I have any treasure, I can go to another clan and offer their daimyo treasure to allow them and me to be allies, to be friends. It increases our relationship. So, for example, here we are. They're our buddies. They're hanging out with us. I want them to be my friend. in 5 days, they'll get my gift, and it'll increase them from just having a interest in the Oda to being friendly with the Oda. And now we can also move into other sections. We already saw what Appease does, which allows you to go out and raise the support of the various tribes of Japan to increase their support of you, and that basically has a couple payoffs. Depending on what kind of tribe they are, they can give you supplies, men, horses, gold, rice. They can and often will support you in battle. So say you got in fight with another clan in your territory or a territory where they were, they will actually pop up and help you in combat. Or you can get them up to 100% support, which allows you to move on to this, which is Assimilation, which allows you to bring them into your clan, which will move them to the closest city that they are currently at, will increase their population, increase the amount of soldiers that you can have their maximum, and gives you amount of supplies. But you no longer have the benefit of them giving you supplies every month. From there, you can also move into Entice. Now, enticing is one of my favorite things to do in this game. Enticing allows you to go and actually try to weasel your way into a friendship with other clans. Or not other clans, but other officers of other clans. So say there was another officer who was really not fond of his boss, not fond of his daimyo. You can actually set up a relationship with him and kind of entice him. As you can see on the screen right now, I had to show a fade in because I don't have the ability to do it yet. Entice him to work with you. Now, this is a clip from my current campaign that's going on right now on my own personal save. So you can see that I have a much bigger, I'm not in the same place I was before. Don't get confusing. We're going to go shift right back into Nobunaga now. That allows you to kind of work your way into a relationship with them, which gives you several abilities. You can either pacify an enemy that doesn't like you. You can entice him to up and leave his lord and come to you. You can actually start up a bunch of different things that I haven't even been able to fully expand upon yet and fully do because I haven't had the chance. And from here, you can move on to Collude, which allows you to collude with another officer from another clan that you've been enticing through basically what is diplomacy. And finally, we're moving down here to the end. Your retainers. There's only a few things here, even though it looks like it's more. You're able to employ Ronin. Say you go and attack another clan, you were able to beat them, you kicked their ass, and you got a couple of their men, their officers. And you don't really want any of their officers right now, but you don't want to execute them either. You release them. And if you wipe out that clan, there's a chance that you'll see those Ronin wandering around in the city or in your territory, and you're actually then able to employ them as officers under your command, if you were to change your mind. From here, you're able to appoint a castle lord, which basically allows you to go to one of your castles and choose one of your retainers and go, you know what? You're so awesome. You deserve to be of a higher status. You get to basically be your own independent person who basically only answers to me when I absolutely want you to, but for the most part, you are independent. You turn them into a province, which we're going to get into here. Treasure, which is you can reward somebody who's loyal to you, who's done good for you. Treasure to keep them on your side, right? This guy, his loyalty is a little low. I can go and offer him up this item, but it'll raise his loyalty from 10, which is to 15, which is pretty good. Unfortunately for him, I'm not going to do it, and if he tries anything, I'll have him executed. He's not going to get a grade 1 treasure from me. Other things you see here is you can teach a trait to an officer, which once the officer gets to a high enough level and gets enough skill points, you're actually then able to teach them certain traits. Here's marriage, which is if you have a maiden, when a female is born, she comes of age, you get the choice to turn her either into a maiden for marriage or into another officer like the males. Or if you were to start up a relationship or make somebody your vassal, they will often send one of their daughters to be one of your daughters, and then you can then take one of your officers and marry him to your daughter and marry him into your family, which will then increase his loyalty to you and make it much lower chance for him to ever betray you, which I often would recommend you do unless that female, once she comes of age, has some absolutely great stats. For example, I have a girl, I think her name was Hasume Date. She had 80 basically across the board. She had 80 leadership, 80 valor, 80 politics, and 80 intelligence, so I definitely wanted to make her an officer, and that's exactly what I've done. So she's an officer. From here, you can actually retire your current boss and choose somebody else to be the leader of your clan. Say your boss had some detriments to his body, your character, he got sick, his stats were really low in comparison to somebody else, and you want to switch him out, you can actually do that. Or you can expel an officer from your clan, which is what I would do to this guy if he was to ever try anything. I would expel him. So you can actually try that. And we're only got 2 more things left here to check out before we actually can end this turn. Investigate. Now, Investigate only has 2 things you can do. The first is it allows you to go and actually explore your own territory, which allows you to see, as you can read here on the screen, mines, hidden paths, and other resources within your territory. Basically, it gives you the ability to find hidden roads to move your troops around faster, mines and resources which will increase your overall revenue at the end of every turn. Or you can perform reconnaissance on an enemy base, which basically means you can go and find hidden roads and paths to their base, which will be able to give you the ability to move your troops around faster in case you wanted to invade somebody or stop them from invading you. So that's really important. And finally, you can move on to provinces. Provinces, to me, are something that is probably the most confusing part of this because I don't fully understand it yet. But I'll try to explain it to you the best I can, and I'm pretty sure the game's tutorial will explain it to you a little bit better. Plus, it's common sense, so I think you'll be fine. So, you have the ability to do several things with provinces. 1, you can create a new province by selecting, let's see, not my main castle, but say these 2 castles right here. Yes, confirm. Those are my 2 castles. You find somebody who you want to be the leader. This guy's old. He seems cool. There we go. He is now my regent, and he now controls those 2 territories. So at the beginning of next turn, you can see what that does for you once you make somebody your regent and give them their own province. From here, I can also disband the province. I can edit the province by adding more territory within that province. So if your empire becomes so large and it's hard for you to kind of make sure to take care of everything, you can actually have basically the AI do it for you. And I'll show you what that's like in the next turn. You can actually move your main base, which for me is right here, the Nagoya Castle. You can move that over to one of these other 2 territories and make that your main base. So if someone wanted to invade you, they would have a harder time if you were farther away from them. From here, you can also give orders to your own retained provinces. Now, these are the provinces that are under your control that you have no personal stake in. You can only tell them what to do. You can then set transport details for them for being able to move around supplies. Then you can also select bases and give them orders so that they actually have things to do, so they actually know what they're supposed to be doing at all times. You basically tell them what to do, and they'll do it for you. But if you don't tell them what to do, they'll kind of do things on their own. So it's very useful in case you don't want to manage a massive empire. Let's say, for example, right here, we're basically right slab dab in the middle of Japan. If it encompassed all of Western Japan and you did not want to take control of all of that, you don't have to. That's the beauty of it. So let's just zoom in here again really quick. Everything I've needed to do is now been done. I've moved on to everything else, and the only things that are left are combat related. And I kind of explained most of those for the most part. Here, directions, I can explain that really quickly. Say you're in combat with somebody and you're at war with somebody, you can actually then tell your provinces that you want them to go and invade another area for you. It still belongs to you, but they do the invading, so that's fine. You can actually ask them to assist one of your units in combat if they're not fighting at a castle, or if they are fighting at a castle. And you can order them to defend a province or an area from invasion. Here's the coalition, which I did not talk about very much, and it's because I have not personally been able to experience a coalition, but I will. Now, with the coalition, this is actually really simplistic. Once a clan becomes too big, now we gotta look over here, you can see this clan right here, the Imago clan. It looks pretty big in comparison, but we're talking massive. Once they become massive, you can actually start up a coalition of a bunch of other clans to take them down. So you can see somebody as a huge threat, start up a coalition and say, we need to work together to remove them from the face of the planet, and that's what you can do. I have not been able to experience that happening yet because I became an ally of the largest clan in my game pretty quickly with a marriage proposal because I didn't want to die. So where am I on the map? There we go. And that is pretty much everything you kind of need to see outside of construction, which I will show off in a couple turns, because I'm going to tell you right now, I only have 1,300 gold. I'm going to be broke after this turn. So here we go, the turn's ended. There's, over here, you can see in the top left corner, there's several speeds you can choose. There's slow, medium. Oh, they actually messaged us about our gift. Cool, now they're our buddies. They liked our gift. And fast. So let's go with fast, because there's nothing going on. We're not at war with anybody for the time being. There we go, we finished one objective. We brought the support of the Atsuda clan up to 80. And here we get to see our month's council. See, we can see the amount of gold we have here up at the top. I only have 641 gold. My total income was only 478, but my total expenses, mainly through diplomacy, which is going to cost you an arm and a leg for a long time, meaning you only want to be doing diplomacy with certain people at certain times, and through infrastructure, building up and improving my cities, has cost me a total of 5,000 gold. The Suda tribe now supports us. That's good. That's what we want to see. From here, we're going to go and finish up that last objective we have. Or am I not able to? Why am I not able to? Oh, yeah, because they're within my province. See, this is where the problem with provinces comes in. So we're just going to go in and we're going to disband this province really quick. That's been disbanded. Now we can go in, appease a clan. There we go. See? Click him. We're going to go send over Nobunaga. And that's been done. So now we can move on to construction. Construction basically has two major parts. And those are really simplistic to get around as well. From here, you can select regular for labor. Here's your areas. Now, I only have these ones that are lit up unlocked, which is only the singular one. So we'll click it, click here, and now we have our commons. Now, here's the things you get to select to build. Canals will lead to orchards. Villages will lead to cargo men. The farmer's fair will lead to nothing yet. The temple will lead into a temple complex. So I have a temple here already, so we're waiting to be able to build a temple complex, which is going to cost me 1,500 gold. The other form of crafting you can do is the Big Five, which then allows you to go in and actually improve the city itself. You can add in a turret. You can build walls here. You can go from just wooden fences to earthen walls all the way up to stone walls, and I think there's something higher than it that I haven't been able to unlock yet. You can build up your actual city itself, your actual base, from a small one-story yukata to a two-story tenshu, to a three-story tenshu, all the way up to a four-story tenshu or an extended tenshu if you really want to be all high and mighty and rub it into everyone else's face that you're better than them. You can build wooden fences, like we can go with that. We got earth walls, and you can see we'll actually increase things. There's two ways that people can take over your cities beyond just having large amounts of forces. That is to blockade it, and that is to storm it. Now, storming it will cost them lives, but will bring down the health of your city really fast if it has a very low resistance to it. So to build up that resistance, you're going to want to improve your cities. And from here, we can now have 10 labor still, so we can actually go and actually do something. So let's do that. Here, we need more conscripts. Let's do that. That's not a big deal. We need more conscripts here as well. That's not a big deal. And we need more conscripts here, so that's not a big deal either, because we don't have that many officers. We don't have that many soldiers. We have treasures that we can give out, but there's really no point in us giving them out for the time being. So we can just kind of end our turn and move on. And there we go. The objective is finished. And that finished up our quest, which then unlocks a historical piece where you'll see your officers actually discussing things in a cutscene. And it can get pretty cool. And what really makes this game awesome is that it's not just your clan that you actually get to see do things like this. In fact, you get to actually see tons of clans have multiple historical conversations, and we'll actually talk about things that happened within Japan and how things in the warring states affected things within Japan. the historical information that's actually presented in this game is actually one of my favorite parts about it. Getting to sit through cutscenes explaining things like about some obscure Shimazu monk who ended up writing like these 40 lines of poetry that got used all the way from the Warring States all the way up to the Meiji Restoration in the early 19th century. Like, those are the kinds of things that this game wants to kind of drill home to you behind the scenes of a actually really in-depth and fun strategy game. Now, I'm going to skip this because I don't want you guys to see it, and I want you guys to try out the game if you're interested in it. So we actually move on to newer things. Now, skip that as well. Skip it. As you can see through the fade out here, I'm actually going to show you a little bit of the combat of the game. The combat is actually very simple and can be challenging at times, and you guys need to be making sure everything that you want to be going as planned is going to go as planned. So we're going to fade out from this Oda campaign, and I'm going to show you a little bit of the combat that I'm going through currently in my Date campaign on my own personal playthrough. So let's just click no. Alright, so this is my current campaign that I'm going through right now. All these weird looking symbols you see here are my cities and what I currently am in control of. These are my vassals, so they have no threat to me whatsoever. These are my vassals. Here is who I'm currently at war with. So at the moment, I am currently in a race against time, while I attempt to take their capital, and they're attempting to take one of the cities that I had just taken from them not too long ago. I'm probably going to have to pull away from their capital for the time being, which is what they want. And you know what? That's totally fine. Actually, they do not have that much HP left here at their capital, so I'm willing to let that city drop so I can take the capital from them. That gives me more. As you can see here, I am doing fairly well in the money, cavalry, and rice supplies, and I have a lot of labor that's due, in fact, to the fact that I have control over tons of cities. So I can tell all these cities to be doing what I want them to do. And there's more at play as I go through this. Let's go and conduct a little diplomacy while I'm sitting here, because I haven't done that yet. So I'm going to send my daimyo over there to go and hang out with them. And we're just going to skip this and just move right in. So here is where we can watch. They are about to take that city, while I'm about to take this city. We lost a capital to an enemy. That's fine. However, we now have their capital. So what we're going to do here is, you can see here, your provisions on your officers are at 120 days. Oh, here we go. Mio Date is now of age. See, she got 60 leadership, 60 valor, 66 intelligence, and 75 politics. So she's actually not that bad of a character. So I'm going to turn her into a maiden, that way I can allow her to be used in political marriages. Here is my income as it stands right now. You'll see here that you actually will be making more than just, 500 gold per turn. Here is your action report. Now, this will tell you what your officers and what's been basically going on within your kingdom. So, as you can see here, Tanamune Date has had his training pay off, which means he got an increased skill point. There are Ronin in our lands that are looking to be hired, and one of our girls have come of age. So I can show you right now what it looks like when you want to employ a Ronin. So here we go. We got a Ronin right here. His stats aren't the best. You can actually click over to him and look at his character, and it'll actually tell you his historical bio. He was the 17th head of the Nikado, with the formidable Date and Ashina as a constant threat, yada yada yada. You can actually see his whole background story there. I don't want to hire him. He's not that important. Now I can show you a little bit of enticement. This guy right here is not content with his current boss, so we're going to go in and entice him. We're going to send my buddy over there. We're going to set up secret meetings with him. As you saw, my capital here, I took their capital here, and their capital has moved right over here. But all of their troops pulled out, so what I'm going to do is just send over troops to fight. No big deal. We go and improve some things over here. And fuck it, let's just go. And now we can show you a little bit of the combat. As you can see right here, this green, this is a clan that is willing to come and help out. A tribe. I have a tribe here as well. It's smaller. And you can see they are doing an automated combat right here on the map. And I am currently kicking their ass. They are broken. Gone. Wiped out. Done. And now I can go in, set my target as their capital. And I'll start taking the capital right back. Just skip this. That just tells us everything we know. And now we can back out. So while I'm taking that capital back, there's going to be no real issues. I have pushed this enemy from about here all the way back here in this very corner. They only have 2 territories left through combat. I have armies all around the map, and as long as they are sitting at one of your cities that you currently own, they will not suffer from attrition. So they are basically invincible. And that's good. I don't like my officers suffering from attrition, because the moment their provisions will hit 0, they will start dropping, and it's not one every couple of seconds. You are going to see them, an army of 5,000, moving only a couple kilometers, will be decimated. You'll be lucky to get 2,000 of them back to your capital alive. So right now, my provisions here at this castle are at 90 days while I'm sieging it. But you get a maximum of 120. So I have 90 days to get 120 back. And that's not going to really be a problem. So let's just skip the turn again and start taking the castle back. As you can see right here, a clan is popped up to help us out with this, so it'll even move faster. Just move up as fast as possible because nothing else is going on. And that's totally fine. Here's your war report, which is like your action report, but it pops up first to tell you everything that's important that's going on currently in your battle. And let's, once again, just wait it out. And just like that, the castle is now back to being under my control. So I ended up losing nothing, and they ended up losing their capital 2 times. She is Kasumi. I said Hasumi earlier. It's Kasumi. She's the one who's been extremely useful to me so far. Alright, and I'm going to move my troops north here really quick to show you what the regular combat looks like, and that will be the end of this video. I want to show you what the actual combat's like. Give me just a second. No, hey. I just saw an army of, what was that? It said 8,900 come marching into my territory somewhere? Where was that? Holy moly, is this them? Are they coming for me? Oh my god, they are. What did I do to those guys? Well, I may be in trouble here. Do I have the ability to defend against this army? Actually, I probably do. So that's not going to be an issue. But as they move up, I'll deal with that on my own time. Here we go. I want to show you a little bit of combat. So, I have 3,200 against their 2,000. Let's move in. Now here we go. You can click on your officers as they are fighting, and you can click battle. And by clicking battle, you will actually go and fight your battles manually. From here, you can see you have several options. You have the ability to just simply move your officers into combat, which is what I'm going to do now. And all of your officers have unique abilities that they can do. You have Pursuit, which then increases your melee attack and limits your enemy's movements. That's useful. You have Lures Enemy In, which is provoking. You have Interference, which will lower the speed of your enemies that are directly in front of you. And as a cavalry unit, you have the ability to Charge, which allows you to run right into them head on and have a chance of confusing them, which basically gives you a free shot to just beat the hell out of them. So, what we're going to do, as we get closer, we're going to click Pursuit, and then we're going to charge them to destroy them. As you can see right now, we don't see them on the screen. And that's fine, because they are currently hidden in the dust. You can zoom in closer if you don't like the look of those little cubes. You can actually zoom in to the point where you see your troops. It's going to be a good battle, close battle. I want my men to just charge them. So that's what we're going to do. Let's do it. Come on, guys. Speed this up. Wait till we're close. They got Pierce. There we go. I went a little too fast. So basically, if you want to see what happened, it basically was just a bloodbath. With everyone basically just hurting each other. And there's a good chance that I will lose this fight. And that's okay. But we're going to charge them and see what we can do. And unfortunately, we were not able to hit them, so we lost that battle. So that is battle in a nutshell. And as I said before, it does seem simplistic, but unless you're paying attention and you know exactly what's going on at all times, you can and will get your ass kicked. So with all this out of the way, all of this done, all this shown off, and about 60 hours of time put into this game, what do I think of it? I think this game is definitely the game of the year in the strategy game department. I have not really played many games like it. I'm not that big into strategy games overall, but I found myself pouring tons of hours, staying up as late as 3 a.m. to just finish off a clan here, to finish up diplomacy there. It may seem like it's a very dry and stale game, but for people who love strategy games, this, I think, we right up your guys' alley. And with the fact that it comes out on the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and PC at the same time, I highly recommend you pick it up. So this is Nobunaga's Ambition. If I had to give this game a rating, I would give this game an easy 4 out of 5 stars and my golden seal of approval. So thank you guys once again for checking out this video. Thank you Koei Tecmo for developing the game. Thank you 1PR for providing the code. And thank you Gamesnosh for allowing me to put this video up on there. And thank you guys for watching. You guys have a great day.